Good evening. Welcome back to Expat in Science. We are still having a fun day with writing, kiteboarding and painting, and our third guest today, Rina Tiangco, is a festive painter. She's a mountaineer and she's also a teacher. But she gets to be on this show for two reasons. Number one, she's lived in Japan for 10 years. So she's quite Japanese, and she's done this wonderful painting behind me, which shows an expat and a Filipina. And that's why she gets to be here. So ladies and gentlemen, festive painter, Ms.Rina Tiangco, back from Japan.
Hello, good evening. It's so good to be here, Raju.
So tell us about your life in Japan, Ms.Rina Tiangco.
All right, so I work with the Yokohama International Office, and I work with the Board of Education teaching English for the elementary school children. However, it is also teaching the Filipino culture. It's a way of reaching out to children that English is not just spoken in America, and a lot of Japanese kids would think that it is only spoken in America. So
how not nice of them. That is not so nice.
But they start early. So they have, we call it International Understanding Program for the public elementary school children. And I also did some staffing for a city office, and we do international programs such as we invite internationals and they interact with the locals, so we give them English studies also, and at the same time
did you knock them dead with Filipino culture and Filipino English?
Oh, definitely, all three languages. So you know, Filipinos are very, when they say bilingual to culture, when they say one language, they say American, but we are trilingual. Can you imagine Filipinos? Trilingual. Filipinos are trilingual.
Trilingual. Was it third Spanish?
Well, we have English, we have Filipino, and we have our local dialect. Filipinos, we have our local dialect. Oh, yeah, we have Taglish.
So we are quadlingish. So what was life like in Japan for a Filipina teacher?
It was a learning experience because first the culture was very unique, and for one reason it made you realize what we have, our country have, and example, their culture is very much a conformist, and they were always on time. And for Filipinos to always have this excuse for being late, we, as a teacher, I had to really open up my eyes and see, hey, there's wonders and culture by itself with their festivities and with their tea ceremony, ikebana.
Yeah, I don't see what's the point in coming on time. What is the rush in the world?
Oh,
yeah.
Time is gold. Time is gold in Japan. So everything works. Everything works when you say it's a yes, it's a yes. There is no such thing as in between. Because we respect time, isn't it? Raju, when you say you have to be there by 6,
time might be gold in
6.
Japan, but
yes,
life is heaven in Philippines.
Oh, definitely. That's why I love it being back here in the Philippines and seeing all these beautiful places, nature abounds here in the Philippines. I so love it.
So what values and what skills did you pick up in Japan that are now useful and powerful to you in the Philippines?
Definitely, it's been a very colorful roller coaster. Because
we Filipinos?
Well, no, my life in Japan, because Filipinos in Japan, a lot of Filipinos are married with Japanese, and so we have to be, we have to learn to be submissive, which I'm not, and a lot of individuals, Filipinos, at that, we have to be very conformist. When I say that, it's not very often that man and woman, they interact together, because there's always a group. There is age group, there is gender group, so not unlike here in the Philippines, we are very gregarious and we are vivacious, we are social animals, whereas the well, I could say because in Japan they are taught to be very efficient machines. See, when
but there's good in that. There's
good in that. There's loyalty, and it's a very rigid society, and our coping up skills as a social being makes this possible. But
so are you saying in the 10 or 15 years that you stayed in Japan, no Japanese emperor tried to enslave you and make you his wife, or they did?
I had offers, definitely, but you know, being married with an international or with a Japanese at that, you exert 200%. Because number one, you have to learn the language. You start from ABC. It's not as if you're marrying an American. We already know how to speak English. When you learn the language, you also learn the culture. And culture is also in a way mind-boggling, because silence is gold. You know how Filipinos are. We're very expressive.
Madaldal.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the Japanese, you know, they just look at you and you know what to do.
All I see the Japanese do is bow a lot.
So it's their second nature. Everything is instinctively second nature. When they say sumimasen, that's
Sumimasen?
Sumimasen.
What does that mean?
It means sorry, I apologize. Which
Is that what they always say? Sumimasen? Sorry.
Sumimasen.
They don't say welcome, hello, how are you?
Oh, they say konnichiwa, that is hello. However, it's a very apologetic society. When you bump into someone, you already say,
They say arigato, arigato.
Arigato is thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
And all these words, if you know how to say at least 3 words, which is itadakimasu, when you have food and you pray for those people who prepared it. Sumimasen, which is excuse me.
Yeah.
And
Sumimasen.
Sumimasen, yeah. If you're late for 30 minutes, that's really grave. You have to say gomenasai, like
Gomenasai.
Gomenasai. If
what does that mean? I'm a monster.
oh well, no. If you piss off your mother-in-law.
You say gomimasen.
Gomenasai.
Can you say something to me about me in Japanese?
Raju sanwa hijou ii hito desu ne. Kokoro no ga hiroi shi, soshite hohohemu mo kawaii shi.
I know what you said. You said my nose is too big for my face. Did you say that?
No, I said you have a big heart. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said you had a big nose. So when and how did you learn to paint so wonderfully? This is something you picked up in Japan, or did you pick this up after you came back home?
I had cancer, Raju, 5 years ago, yes.
In Japan or here?
No, already here. I came back, and when I discovered that I had it, I thought that life is too precious, and I rediscovered a lot of different things, among which is painting. I started painting and never realized, wow, I could paint, because at that time, years ago, I could only paint a Mickey Mouse and a Minnie Mouse. So all the colors of my life came out, and I was also, in a way, traveling from Batanes, north, south, east, west of the Philippines. And I was telling myself, I want to put this into color, and it's about time that we get to know our national identity. And one of the ways to do that is to go to these festivities. Yes. Not a lot of people are given the chance to visit Batanes, or to see a Kadayawan festival down in Davao, or to see Pinagbenga up in Baguio. So I wanted to put all of these by experiencing it firsthand and putting it into painting.
Two questions. Number one, what kind of spiritual healing does it do for you when you paint? Question number one. Question number two is that when you put all these festive colors of the Filipinos, what exactly are you trying to express?
All right, let's
go for question one.
Yeah. So question one, spiritual healing. I'm a nature lover. And when I'm up in the mountain, it's so majestic, and I say to God, God, you are so great. In fact, when I had my last chemotherapy, I went up to the mountains of Mount Apo and Kota Kinabalu with my wig on, and
you wore a wig during the chemotherapy?
Yeah, well, yes, during the climb, actually.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And I was telling God, you are so great, and you've given me all these gifts, in spite of the fact that my life has been a roller coaster, but I'm still up here. So when I first discovered the canvas, my friend invited me to a painting session, and I was just so surprised that no way did I paint this, no way. So I had to actually get drunk and say, oh gosh, I could paint. And the healing is when your paint talks back to you, not in a way that you're possessed.
Does this painting, is that you?
Well, you know,
actually it does look like you a bit, yeah.
I should admit, some of my paintings, they would say they look like my sister, they look like a friend, so it kind of resembles someone. It is a Sinulog festival, and Sinulog festival is actually mimicking water. That's where...
Sinulog means mimicking water?
Mimicking water,
being soft and fluid and flowing?
That's right, yeah.
That's Cebuano, isn't it?
Yeah, that's in Cebu.
Yeah.
So we do have a lot of festivities which are religious by nature and secular. However, it is a way to thank God for the crops that we have. It is a way to boost economic...
It's appreciation
appreciation, yeah.
Gratefulness, yeah?
Yes, because a long time ago, during the Spanish regime,
Yeah.
we had the cabecera, and the cabecera would have a budget for the festivities so that a lot of people from the highlands would go down, and it's a way of bonding, it's a way of saying that, well, here in a place like Bacolod, they have the Mascara Festival. It's because to mask their economic situation. So we Filipinos, yes.
To put across happiness
Yes.
and confidence rather than just like a joker does, you know, keeps sad sorrow inside and puts across a happy face. So that's what mascara is all about.
That's right. And so when I started learning these things as I was painting and reading about festivities, I sort of identified myself with these, yeah, because we do have a lot, like Filipinos, we patronize a lot of saints, yeah.
Santo Niño.
Santo Niño, and
Correct.
like say for instance in Cebu a long time ago, the first image of the Santo Niño they found in a river, and so they still keep that until this time. So it is also going back to your roots. And that is the beauty of festivities, because Filipinos, we had a colorful history way from the Spaniards, and even until this time there are still some new festivals being brought in because it brings about, well, money to the and you boost the confidence of the people and the economy also. So it is a way to go back to where we're coming from.
Wonderful, wonderful. I have two
Yo
more
to the
questions from
Filipinos,
you,
yeah.
okay? Don't answer me back in Japanese. Don't answer me back in Japanese. Number one is you have a show coming up.
Oh yes.
Yeah? So tell us quickly at the camera about the show, please.
I'm very excited about my exhibit. It's the Fiesta na Tayo. It's going to be November 6th.
Yeah.
That is opening night, but it's going to run for 3 weeks, and it's all about the different festivities that we have. So that's November 6th. It's going to be held at the LRI building. That is N. Garcia Street, right across.
There's a slide
So
there, okay.
N. Garcia Street, that is right across Alliance Francaise. It's Makati,
Reposo.
Bel Air. Yeah, Rico and Renzo Gallery.
Second question, Ms.Rina Tiangco. No? Now you are an expat wife. You've lived abroad and you love the Philippines. You've also loved the other culture. What is that one thing you would tell wives of expats or expats in this country? What would that one statement be to bring them together and be more loving, be more forgiving, and accept and celebrate diversity? What's your statement?
I believe that we are all creatures of God, and sometimes in a relationship we may tend to be all that materialistic, stubborn, we may tend to beat, but with all these things we have to, there is a greater force beyond us, and that is being complete by ourselves.
Wonderful.
So we don't have to find the completeness outside of us, because we have to be by ourselves complete with God.
Salamat and arigato for being on the show, and we hope your show is successful. Thank you for this picture, and more power to what you do, mountain climbing, teaching, and painting, Ms. Tiangco. That was Ms.Rina Tiangco. I'm your host, Raju Mandhyan. Thank you for watching Expat Insights, where we give you external views of internal successes from foreigners and sometimes of Filipinos who have lived abroad. So next week we'll have Mr. Chris Ducker from Cebu, who runs a call center. So good night, thank you, and mabuhay. Thank you.